Here in Beijing, I had an important conversation with President Xi Jinping, and I had candid, substantive, and constructive discussions with my counterparts, Director Wang Yi and State Councilor Qin Gang. I appreciate the hospitality extended by our hosts. In every meeting, I stress that direct engagement and sustained communication at senior levels is the best way to responsibly manage our differences and ensure that competition does not veer into conflict. And I heard the same from my Chinese counterparts. We both agree on the need to stabilize our relationship.
The timing of the dramatic escalation came as US Secretary of State Antony Blinken headed to China for talks.
It definitely was a topic of discussion. We got that from the public readout of Secretary Blinken's meeting with his counterpart with the Chinese government. It was Xi, and they discussed this among a lot of other different issues. As you know, there's reasonably high tensions between the two countries. The President Biden seems to think that there's a thaw in relations. All that is debatable, but yes, this came up in the conversations, and I think the kind of extent of the idea of this training center, more listening posts, was definitely a topic of conversation, but we don't know exactly what the Chinese, how they responded.
What's happening now is, yes, we're trying to meet with them. They won't take our military phone calls. And the United States is a policy of only doing one war at a time. We've said our defense strategy is to pull out of the Middle East. So they're filling all the vacuums around the world. And now we're going to them saying, hey, let's talk. And they're pretty much saying, we don't want to talk because we've now got you outflanked. We're starting to surround you. Yeah, and part of it is, again, with the United States strategy of being one war at a time, with the war going on in Europe, the Russian aggression, the United States is trying to dial that down. And the Chinese are more than happy to take advantage of all of that space and take advantage of the United States doing that. I think we've got to be much tougher and say, look, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can both cover down in the Middle East, we can cover down in Europe, and we can cover down in the Pacific, because it's not just the United States, it's us and all of our friends and allies that you're up against.